What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 summary preview analysis. Today, guys, we are going to be going over the summary and preview for episode 69 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. I'm very excited, as always, to be discussing these summaries and this preview with you guys. So, without further ado, let's not waste any more time and let's jump right into it. Alrighty, so here is the episode 69 summary. The title of it is called Field of Blub Dreams. I think that's how you're supposed to say it, Blubreams, or some weird name like that. Flash Umiko works in the 6th General Affairs Division of the General Affairs Department at the Goha Corp General Headquarters. Jeez, do they have enough general in there? Her sloppy work behavior leaves much to be desired. However, through an unexpected turn of events, Gakuto runs into her again. He decides to duel against her in order to correct her work behavior. And that's the episode 69 summary. It looks like we're finally going to be getting started with this arc, since the last episode was actually a recap episode, which, by the way, is the reason why I didn't do a review last week, for the sole reason that it was a recap episode. There was no point to do it whatsoever. The only thing I will just mention right now that kind of happened in 69 that I feel like is worth mentioning is that Mimi got her spot back at Goa Corporation, so there's a good chance we might see her working in this episode. And they showed a weird flashback of Yuo dueling someone, and also he celebrated his birthday in the last episode and somewhat got redeemed. I don't know if it's like he really got redeemed because of the whole aspect of him having these weird flashbacks of remembering this duel, but he cannot remember what it was all about. But that's essentially what happened in episode 69, and that whole concept of what happened to Yuo, I don't think that's going to be touched on whatsoever in this episode. It just really doesn't make any sense. But what's going to happen in this episode is that we're going to see everyone working at Goha Corporation. We saw in the preview, we see Yuga riding a bike down the hallways, going past a whole bunch of people that work at Goha Corporation. We see Luke at his desk. I don't know what that scene is going to be all about. And I guess Roman is the chef, which makes sense for the sole reason that she's been really the only cook in this show other than Mimi, so that is going to be very fascinating in its own regards. I don't know what Gakuto is going to be all about. You know, him being a student council president at Goha 7th Elementary School is not going to be implied to this, or at least I don't think it's going to be. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Gakuto's whole role at Goha Corporation is going to be. And I would even say for Yuga and Rook, because Rook we don't really know much, and Yuga for that matter as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what their roles are going to be as Goha employees. But the main focus of this episode is going to be that Flash Umiko, which we haven't seen her since the 4th arc. Actually, she came out closer to the end of the 4th arc, as she was the one that did, you know, the announcements for the finals. And after that, we haven't seen her since. I think we saw her like at the beginning of the 5th arc, and other than that, that was it. We have not seen this character since, I think, episode 53 was the last time we saw this character. So it's pretty cool to see Flash Umiko, or one of these co-characters, back in action once again. And it seems like she doesn't really want to work, or she doesn't give her full potential when she works. And Gakuto sees this and decides to duel against her to kind of correct her working habits, to make her a better employee at Goha Corporation. So this is going to be a very fascinating duel. Now, I will say there is one thing that I was really upset that this preview did for this upcoming episode, is that it showed Gakuto using his new fusion monster, and basically confirms that that new fusion monster will be used in this episode. Not saying it's a bad thing that we're seeing this fusion in this episode, but I would have loved if they just made it show up out of nowhere, because having the thought in our mind that, yeah, at some point, you know, Gakuto, and even Roman for that matter, is going to use their new fusions at some point, it makes you question every time they go into a duel. Are we going to see that new fusion, or are they going to save that new fusion for a bigger duel or something like that? But nope, they just decided, you know what, you guys already know that this card is coming out thanks to the Yugioh organization post. Might as well just show it in the preview. It's not going to really matter that much. So that's pretty interesting as well. And also, we get to see Flash Umiko duel for the first time, and to actually see her deck in action, which more than likely is going to be a fish type deck, but it's still going to be pretty interesting nonetheless. And general thoughts on who I think is going to win this duel, more than likely it's probably going to be Gakuto. I mean, they're showing off the new fusion for the first time. It makes sense for Gakuto to win this duel, and also I just think it would be a great boost for him right off the bat if in the second episode of this new arc he was able to get out a big win, or I guess you can say a big win. I don't know if this would necessarily be a big win since Flash Umiko is only dueled once, but a win is a win, so you know what, I will take that. So my prediction is that Gakuto will more than likely win this duel. It makes the most sense for him to win this duel. But the one final thing I do want to mention as well that I do kind of wonder going into this episode is that, is Gakuto going to fall in love with Flash Umiko in this episode? And you might be wondering, why in the world would Gakuto fall in love with Flash Umiko? I think back to the other characters of the co-characters and the people that they duel against, and almost all of them have fallen in love with one of the co-characters. Mensaburo fell in love with Sorako, Nick fell in love with Sweet Skikako, and then I guess Kaizo did fall in love with Chikako, but it's Kaizo. I mean, that's just this whole gimmick. And yeah, even though Sebastian didn't fall in love with Chikako when he dueled against her, you know, he's a robot. It doesn't really matter. But these other two, in the forms of Nick and Mensaburo, are humans, and they fell in love with Sorako and Sweet Skikako respectively. So is that gonna be the same thing with Gakuto? Like, that's it's a weird question to ask, and probably won't happen, but you never know. I mean, it happened with the other two human characters that dueled against these co-characters, so we're gonna have to wait and see. Me personally, I don't care if Gakuto falls in love with her or not, really. I don't think it's gonna change my opinion on Gakuto if he does that, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. And also, if Flash does lose this duel, what's gonna happen to her? Like, think about it. Every time one of these characters duels against someone, they disappear. Sorako disappeared after he dueled Mensaburo, Chikako disappeared after she dueled Sebastian, and Sweet disappeared after she dueled Nick. So, is this gonna happen to Flash as well? Or what's going to happen? Is she going to actually stick around? Like, that's a very interesting concept as well going into this episode. Is Flash Umiko going to stay after this duel with Gakuto? Even if she does win, will she disappear? Because Chikako won her duel against Sebastian and then disappeared after that. So is she going to actually stay around, or is she going to be like the other co-characters and then disappear? So that's going to be a very interesting concept to look at it as well going into this episode. But with that being said, I think that's going to be it for this summary preview analysis. There's not really much to talk about, which that's to be expected. This is literally only the second episode of the new arc, so not much has already happened yet, and there's not really much to speculate on in regards to this episode, but I'm still very excited for this episode and to see Gakuto's new fusion as well. But with that being said, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the episode 69 summary and preview down below, and let me know who you guys think is going to win this duel between Umiko and Gakuto. Do you think Gakuto is going to win? Do you think Umiko is going to win? Or do you think it's going to be some weird draw or a no result kind of situation? Let me know if you guys think that Umiko is going to disappear after this duel with Gakuto just like the other ones, or is she going to stick around? And do you guys think that Gakuto, just like Nick and Mensaburo, is going to fall in love with Flash Umiko? Would love to know all your guys' thoughts on this down below. But guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.